Hi, how you doing? Okay, this video is about the other books of Moses. Okay, so here we have the sixth and seventh books of Moses. So right now, any Judeo-Christian person, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, everybody should be saying, hang on a second, I thought there were only 5 books of Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. The first 5 books of the Bible are supposedly written by Moses. Now, if you've watched my playlist, Who Wrote the Bible, you can hear scholars talk about, Moses may have written little pieces of the books of the first 5 books of the Bible, the books of Moses, but certainly didn't write every word. Just like any other scripture, when something happens, they don't hurry up and grab a pen and start writing it down. That's the concept. The whole concept of scripture in the first place is just, it's a fact. It's not really anything that it claims to be. But books, there are sacred books. It's like right now, if you had something important, you might later write it down in a book, and that book would be special because 5 years, 10 years down the road, it's going to help you remember what you said and things like that. So I don't think scriptures are worthless. I think they're worth a lot. You just have to put them in proper perspective with what you're dealing with. So as it turns out, the Catholic Church, which is the controller of early Christianity, or they'll kill you when you go back in time, they didn't want Moses to look like a magician. See, so like the thing is so they changed the name of the deity from Yahweh to God, because Yahweh in the Kabbalah, you'll learn Yahweh, YHWH, the tetragram, is for fire, water, air, and earth. And then, so now the deity becomes something within. And they wanted people to believe the deity was a man up in the sky. So they changed the name of God from Yahweh to God, G-O-D, from the Assyrian Most High God, G-A-W-D. A pagan religion. So we know when we study the subject, who wrote the Bible and the facts, we know that neither Judaism, Christianity, or Islam can claim to not be pagan. There's pagan stuff going on all over the place in all those religions. Nobody can really run from the original root of all theology and all religion, which is paganism, which came first. So, like Karen Armstrong teaches us. Okay, so they saw the threat there. That they needed the Catholic Church needed to be the spokesperson for God, and God needed to be someone that you could point at up in the sky. And so they didn't want people believing that Yahweh was within the individual, and they didn't want people to believe that the priest was just a magician and a witch, So they took out the other books of Moses. So that's why, we later learned that was a 6th and 7th books of Moses, and here we have the 8th, 9th, and 10th books of Moses. So the Kabbalah, which is the other side of everything, in Judaism, which is the root of Christianity and Islam, in the Kabbalah we learn the meaning of the Hebrew letters. Besides Yahweh, fire, water, air, and earth, we learn what all the different Hebrew letters mean, which is the Kabbalah, aka the tarot deck, or as Aleister Crowley calls it, the Book of Thoth. So the Book of Thoth proves that and Aleister Crowley's famous tarot deck called the Book of Thoth, and its corresponding book called the Book of Thoth by Master Therion, which was just a pseudonym of Aleister Crowley, proves that the tarot deck came from Egypt, even though some people claim it came from gypsies in Europe. It actually came from Europe, and we realize this through the Kabbalah. That's what the Kabbalah is all about. The Kabbalah is the study of the meaning of the numbers 1 through 10, which are called the Sephirot, which means spheres in Hebrew. and you personalize what each number means to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 being the idea, and 10 being when something's made manifest, because you create things out of ideas. You know, YHWH is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is further down. Is less pure. It's on the other side of the abyss. So the Jah. The real meaning of Jah, we link within, but it's Jah is the beginning of our thoughts, because we create things out of our thoughts. And so that's the Sephirot, or the Kabbalah. So here we have in the 8th, 9th, and 10th books of Moses, we see this picture of Moses, how he has 2 tablets in his hand. And everybody's like, oh, well, that's the 10 Commandments. Well, one of them was the 10 Commandments. In the 8th, 9th, and 10th books of Moses, we realized the other one had the 10 words of power, which were the Sephirot. So Moses basically was an Egyptian magician or a witch, just like Jesus and all the other prophets of the Bible. It wouldn't be possible to prove that neither Jesus nor any of the prophets of the Bible were not witches. You could just simply say, well, the word witch was created at this time, and you could easily prove that the word witch couldn't be used to describe those, just because it could be, but just today, since the word witch has been invented, calling these people magicians would be even more accurate. They were all magicians, especially Moses, who was very much an Egyptian magician. And so you can see, you're like, oh, Moses was not an Egyptian magician. Well, have you read the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th books of Moses? No, you didn't even know they existed. You didn't even know they existed, okay? So so Moses had the 10 words of power. The 8th, 9th, and 10th books of Moses, it adds in, it's all the information that Moses was a magician, So it's the other half of the story, like Bob Marley says, and half the story has never been told. The other half of the story is that Moses, like he wasn't already a magician or a witch in the first 5 books of Moses. This is just 8th, 9th, and 10th books of Moses is just, look, there's Moses with a magic wand. Okay, of course Jesus and all the prophets use magic wands. They say that witchcraft, see, there's Moses pointing his finger. The meaning of the magic wand, like you'll see, watch these videos on the origin of the magic wand, and everybody used a magic wand, but we don't know what the origins are. Well, anyone that's had a baby knows babies point at things with their finger. Of course, in magic, we know that your finger is also a wand. Okay, but if you have a stick and you're pointing at it, that has even that much more power, because it's really specifically saying, hey, that thing. Okay? So that's why everybody uses a wand, not because they talk to each other and compared notes, but because it's common sense. You would use a wand if you're trying to direct energy. Okay? Just like in conversation, if you point, you've communicated that message. Okay? The end of the books of the 8th, 9th, and 10th books of Moses has a bunch of these symbols. Anyone that's read ancient books of magics, the Necronomicon, different books like that, would recognize these scribbles. That's what ancient magic looked like. These are just different symbols. The symbols to gain love. Here's a symbol so that the devil shall smite your enemy. So they're just different magic symbols that the magician or the witch can use. On Moses, the 7th and 6th books, the 6th, 7th books of Moses, and the magical use of the Psalms. Apparently the Psalms, we say they were written by David, but the Psalms were composed and put together by David, and a lot of those ideas came from Moses. And they had magical uses, making the magic of the Psalms magical. The 6th and 7th books of Moses is these are all just a bunch of symbols, how to turn the staff into a serpent, and just a whole bunch of different magical symbols and operations, how to raise these spirits and these demons, and and golems. Apparently Golem, like from the Lord of the Rings, the concept of a golem was something that came from the Kabbalah. A lot of people think that J.R. Tolkien came up with the idea of golem, but of course that's not true. So we have the 6th and 7th books of Moses in the description box. I'll leave a bunch of links to people talking about the 6th and 7th books of Moses, so you can hear it from other people besides just me. Moses was a magician, so was Jesus, and so were all the prophets, and it's not possible to prove otherwise.